Okay, so with that said, I think we are more than ready to address question 1. So I'll take on the question 1 of the textbook, while Ting Zhang will take on question 3, followed by Zhi Wei will take on question 2. So question 1 is talking about what is the ethical dilemma facing Walmart in this case, and do Walmart Associate also face an ethical dilemma? Okay, our good answer is, of course, yes. Both Walmart and the Associate face an ethical dilemma. So in the case of Walmart, on one side they want to introduce the chrono system, because the chrono system helps to cut labor costs significantly. So as an employee of Walmart, of course you want to do an action that is in the best interest of the company. And if this action, or introducing the chrono system, does help you to cut labor costs significantly, then of course as an employee of the Walmart, you should try to introduce this system. But on the other hand, if they want to introduce this system, they will need to give up the welfare of the associate. And many of you do this as an unethical decision, because as an employer, you should always take into consideration the welfare of your employees, especially if you are employing 1.4 million, which is a lot. Thus, it can be an unethical decision as well. But of course, if they do not wish to introduce the chrono system, which means that they will not be able to gain the benefit from cutting costs, then they will be able to maintain the welfare of the associate. But again, in this case, it will be unethical, because as an employee of Walmart, of course you want to do the best for the company. You want to be responsible to your shareholders to gain profit minimization and cost minimization and profit maximization. But on the other hand, by not introducing the chrono system, you'll be able to sustain the welfare of the associate, which can be ethical, because as an employer, as mentioned before, you should take into consideration the welfare of your employees. Okay, in the case of associate dilemma, they'll be choosing between quitting the job or keeping the job. If they wish to quit the job, right, then of course they do not wish to sacrifice their family time, they do not wish to sacrifice their paycheck or even job security. They view this as a very important factors. But on the other hand, if they want to keep the job, then they will get around the system by lying about their availabilities. And this can be seen as an unethical decision, because it totally defeats the purpose of having a chrono system. So imagine if Walmart actually come in and actually put in so much cost, pay so much for the chrono system, and the employee actually get around the system by lying about their availability, then Walmart actually make a loss and not a cost saving method. Okay, so whether it is ethical or is it unethical will depend on which side of the dilemma you are looking at, and it will depend on many other perspectives that we should look from. And with that, right, I'd like to hand over to Ting Zhang, who will bring you all through question 3.
Okay, thank you, Shiwen. So right now, I'll touch on question 3. So question 3 is asking, what are the potential effects of computerized scheduling on employees' morale, and what are the consequences of these effects on Walmart? So before we actually look at the computerized scheduling on the morale, we need to know how this scheduling actually affects the employees. So these are some of the comments from the ex-Walmart employees. So firstly, a group of Walmart employees said that their lives have been turned upside down since Walmart implemented this policy, which requires workers to adjust to shift rotations instead of maintaining their long-term steady shifts. And workers actually feel that the policy is trying to force higher paid full-time workers to reduce their status to part-time or even quit and be replaced with more part-time workers. So because this will actually save Walmart enormous amounts of money and from reduced salaries and benefits. So okay, next I'll show you a video.
That's the Opera House. It used to be, at one time it was the police department and the city hall. That was the 5 and 10. That was the dentist. We used to go there all the time to go to the dentist. The thing about Walmart is that there used to be so many jobs, so many places you could go to get a job. There's nothing now. I started working at Walmart because that's the only place in town to work, to get a job. All right. I started out as working in the lawn and garden. Then I went to fabrics and crafts. Then I went to domestics. Then I went to a cashier. And now I'm up at pharmacy. I don't know of anybody who can get along with just working for Walmart. it's impossible to make a living on 28 hours or 34 hours a week. If you work solely for Walmart, chances are that you're receiving some kind of assistance from the county. Or if you're working for Walmart, you're working part-time for Walmart. Most of the people that work for Walmart work part-time, and they have other jobs. You know, people can't get along with just Walmart's job. The scheduling is done by computer. If you're not available at certain times, then your hours are cut back altogether. I'm a full-time employee. I only have to work. They only have to schedule me for 28 hours a week. You can't find work because you never know what your schedule is going to be the following week. My wish list would be definitely the scheduling. There has to be some flexibility there. You know, people have families. You know, going to work is not a person's main priority. Your family comes first, and work comes second. I used to be proud to be a Walmart employee. Now, now it's kind of embarrassing to be a Walmart associate. You know, just be human. Have management be human. Have the Walton family be human. Instead of listening with your pocket, listen with your heart.
Okay, so I hope you have enjoyed the video. So after watching this video and reading these comments, our group has actually concluded that the morale is low and is negative. So what are the effects? Okay, more part-time means lower wages. What does this mean? Having shift works means that you're actually working as a part-time worker, and it's actually quite difficult to find another part-time job when you're working as a part-time worker, and this ultimately means that your income will be relatively lower. And another problem is that workers have absolutely no prediction over their scheduling in the long term. So this results in the workers having a more difficult time to even just plan to spend time with their own family members and friends, or even their close ones. And after viewing and reading some of the comments from Walmart employees, we actually found out that workers do not feel well taken care of. They do not feel proud working in Walmart, and they have no sense of belonging. So all these factors have actually created chaos and instability in the worker's life. Okay, right now we'll look at the consequences of these effects on Walmart. So firstly, high turnover rate. So what is turnover rate? Turnover rate is actually the rate at which an employer gains and loses employees. A simpler way to describe it is how long employees tend to stay in the company. So as one of the biggest private employer with 1.3 million workers, Walmart is actually suffering one of the highest worker turnover rates in the industry. So what's the consequences of turnover rate? A high turnover rate can be harmful to a company's productivity if skilled workers are actually leaving and the workers' population contains a high percentage of novice workers. So a high turnover rate will actually lose a lot of workers. So losing workers can be considered human capital loss, and there's actually a possibility that these employees will be re-employed within the same industry by another competitor. So therefore a high turnover rate will actually incur two causes. What are they? They can incur both replacement causes to the organization and as well as resulting in a more competitive disadvantage to the businesses.